Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan, and with me is Adam from Games and Groceries.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Pineapples on pizza, everybody.
Yes, making your third appearance.
I know.
And we're breaking the make Adam play PlayStation games.
I know. I was about to say that the third time's the charm. I love both games I was on, but I was like, man, I'm an Xbox fan, and he's only got me on PlayStation games. But yeah, third time's the
Finally broke
charm,
the
man.
trend.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, we finally broke the trend because today we're going to be talking about Rain on Your Parade, which is an indie game. So that's also pretty different than the, I don't know, PS or PlayStation first party games we've done.
Yeah. We've done some major titles, meaning God of War and Spider-Man PS4 we did. Major titles, you can call Insomniac at that point a double A studio, but this is just major small team, and we'll get into that in a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so kind of fun. I guess also on the plus side for Xbox, if we're keeping score, is this is on Game Pass right now. So
Yeah.
if you have Game Pass and you're an Xbox person, you have access to this game, and you should go play it.
I definitely, man. For sure.
Awesome. Well, I guess with that, Adam, do you want to get the description of the game for us?
Definitely. So this game is called Rain on Your Parade, and the description says Rain on Your Parade is a slapstick comedy game where you play as a mischievous cloud. Play across a wide range of levels while unlocking new abilities and mechanics that get progressively more ridiculous. Make new friends and help them too. It's an adorable feud game. What? I didn't even see that going into it. Shenandoah game. Travel across the world inventing new ways of causing chaos and mayhem. Turn perfectly dry and sunny wedding day into a wet one. Unleash thunder and lightning upon the cities. Bring down pandemonium to supermarket shoppers. Destroy farmers' crops. Sneak around military bases and run down meteors on your dinosaurs. On dinosaurs, not your dinosaurs. Yes, even the dinosaurs are not safe.
Awesome. Thank you. Yes, you play as a mischievous cloud on this. Also, quick background on the game. It was developed by Unbound Creations. They've done, I think, about 6 games. One of the ones I've played is called Headliner. In that one, you control the news, and you work at like a news office, and then you can run stories to sell a different angle, and then the city kind of reacts around you based on the news, which is...
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I had fun with that one. They have another one called Fulfillment, which is, I think, basically like a Amazon warehouse simulation game, which I assume shows that those things aren't good. It's kind of my guess of how the game would go. But cool games that they've made, but I think this is their first one that's been on consoles. I think those are just PC games. So,
were any of these two games part of that Itch.io bundle deal that you got?
Yeah, Headliner was. And Headliner also has a sequel that is also on that itch.io bundle. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if we're talking about Game Pass, if you bought that itch.io bundle back in summer during it was during the Black Lives Matter movement, and was that they were raising money for. I wanted to say it was. I'm like, why do I feel like I'm wrong? By the way, background, I got my second dose today, so if I'm a little bit woozy, that's why. But yeah, if you bought that bundle, definitely check out Headliner. I didn't buy it because I don't really play games on PC. But yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so I guess with that, we will jump into kind of a recap / discussion about Rain on Your Parade. And so I guess just setting context up, this game is told as a bedtime story from a grandpa to his grandson. And so the whole story is told in that spot. There's I wouldn't even say cutscenes exactly, but maybe almost throughout the game where it's kind of like, oh, this story's getting boring. What's next? And then Grandpa's like, well, Cloudy had this thing or whatever.
I would say they weren't really cutscenes, more the like context clips, if that makes any sense. Whereas a cutscene it gives you purpose behind the game, and I guess this does it too, but it kind of gives you kind of a fourth wall breaking almost. I don't know, like you said, I don't know how to describe it. It's not really a cutscene, it's just a setting scene, I guess you can call it. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not a cutscene in that there's not like cinematics or voice acting even, but it's like a clip of like, okay, back to, most of the game is played as the story that's been told, but then occasionally you check back into quote unquote reality, and it's like, this story's boring, or what's Cloudy do next, Grandpa? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah, I thought it was really creative in that way, where they kind of riffed on each other at times. Most times it was just kind of like Grandpa talking to his grandson. But there were some scenes where it caught you, like in a dialogue, where in the beginning, the very first cutscene, the grandpa is like talking to his son. It's like, "Oh man, being Cloud is great. You can rain on people's stuff." Like it actually had the SHH like he was about to say something. He's like, stuff."
Yeah,
I thought
that was really great. I really like those two. That was super funny. I think there's another time where it's like, yeah, this person, they're a real son of a gun.
Yeah, the writing was very clever in this game, especially with the grandpa and the grandson, where it felt like the description says, slapstick comedy, but also just ridiculous. It was just all around cute comedy, if I can call it that.
Yeah, I think so. It felt like maybe a little edgier than a Pixar movie, but in that sort of vibe where it's like it's a thing for children, but there are things also that are fun or enjoyable for an adult. And so there were several jokes along the way that were ones that, if your 5-year-old were playing this game, they wouldn't get them at all and they wouldn't notice anything. But you, being an adult, you would be like, that's a funny joke. I like that. Like, so I thought they really landed that super well.
Yeah, I mean, I even caught a line where I was just like, oh, stop. We're going to talk about the characters later, but there's a grandma, and she's just like, oh, it doesn't rain as often. And she says in line, like, when I was younger, I used to get wet all the time. I'm like, oh, stop.
Yeah.
That's all I said. I said that out loud, too, playing the game, like, stop. But it's so cleverly written. I was like, great.
When that happened, I was like, oh, they're going there.
They're going there. Gotcha.
That was funny. And also, a funny joke, certainly for adults, and children wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. In the context, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. So, also, I guess, general premise of this story then, Grandpa's telling his grandson, is Cloudy wants to live in Seattle, where you can be free, you can rain on anyone you want, all of that, which, Seattle, definitely a cloud's paradise.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacific Northwest is just always raining, but Seattle, as I've heard, I haven't been there yet, but Seattle just rains all the time. So, of course, it's the best place to be if you want to be a cloud.
Yep, totally. And so, I guess rather than doing a, kind of typical recap going level by level, instead, we're just going to spend our time sort of talking about the mechanics of the game, how the game evolves, that sort of stuff. All in all, there's 50 levels. Probably at some point during our discussion, we'll talk about some of our favorite levels, but I don't know. We thought it would be better to talk about how the game is, ultimately. So I guess big things are characters in the game. So you play as Cloudy the Cloud. As you go through the game, you can get different... not merch, but like you can have
like
a hat
hats and outfits, like accessories. You can even draw a face. I sent you a screenshot on Twitter when I was playing, and I drew a little smiley face on my clouds, and I was just like, "That's adorable." It's fully customizable. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it was cool that they had that, and then also along the way you meet a couple characters who were kind of your. Not companions, because they're not always there, but they're people that you see occasionally who are kind of your allies, so to speak. So there is Froggy, who's a frog, and Makes a joke
Definitely
about
not.
Frogger.
I was about to say, he's definitely not Frogger. Not in that way.
Yeah, it makes a Frogger type joke at one point, which was funny. Like, I was popular in the 90s or something.
Yeah. I was like, there we go. There it is.
And then there's a grandma who kind of, I don't know, tells you to do different things. One time you like go grocery shopping for her, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
that was a great level, yeah.
Almost kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like is the your Obi-Wan almost. He like tells you how to be a cloud and is, you know, he's there kind of along the way sometimes of like, oh, well, you could only rain. Well, guess what? You can actually bring thunder down on people or things like that.
There is one character I see missing from this list. And like, I know you told me to like add anything, but I just wanted to catch you off guard because you forgot the character we forget the most is the bug, the worm in the beginning. Do you remember him?
I do. Good call out. Yes.
And he's just like, you know, I'm just here to say, like, there's a worm as you start the game. Like, hey, if there's any bugs, you know, I'm Mr. Bug or whatever you call him. You know, just report it to Unbound Creations or don't. This is the only reason why I exist. Nobody cares about me. I'll just go about my day. It's just like, he's just so self-deprecating, but he's just like, it's a warning to say like, hey, if there's any bugs in the games, report it to the developers. But again, clever writing. You know, they just said like, I'm a character too. And you just forget about him.
Yeah, that was really funny. It was like this one note, like, hey, don't be upset if there's bugs, but if there is, tell me. Go tell Unbound Creations. Like, let us know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is great. That was really funny and an awesome way to throw that in at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I thought like there's a couple different things that like I liked when they picked it up, but that one especially, like, it was just a nice little message to the players, and you can tell they put a lot of heart behind it, and they care about their audience. In that way, they didn't want to just make a game that was designed to be just a profit maker on Game Pass. Because of course, you put your game on Game Pass, there's got to be a deal involved, you know. And I'm sure they make those deals a year at least in advance, but they didn't care about that. They just cared about the player, and just that interaction alone made you think that like, oh, they actually care about you in some form or fashion, you know. But also great lines too. So
yeah, it was a good way, and even through the game they did a couple other things like this, but just showing the people who make games are people sort of thing. And I like that got hit up a couple times through the game, which I'm sure we'll talk about more at other points, but like I thought that was cool, but also still clever within the game. It wasn't like intrusive or weird, you know, like it fit in the game, the vibe of the game. It was like, oh, you meet a bug, and then it's like, hey, I'm here to let you know to report bugs if you see any.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, cool. And then you just go to the next level. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the old Animal Crossing games where, again, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting names right now, and I'm forgetting a lot right now, but the guy in Animal Crossing where if you turn off your GameCube without it saving, and he'll come up like, hey man, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, you can't save your game and then power off your game. Like, you can't do that. And that was his only purpose. I can't remember for the life of me what his name was, his character name. But anybody who's played old school Animal Crossing knows what his name is. So I'm covered on that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so those are our characters. And then also, as the game goes on, as we've sort of mentioned at points, is you develop new skills as your cloud. So the game begins with you only knowing how to rain. And so it starts off, you do, I don't know, maybe 10 levels where your only power is raining. The game begins with you raining on a wedding, which was fun. And already kind of sets the tone for the game you're in. You're like, okay, I'm just going to terrorize people. I'm all about this.
Yeah.
This is what the game was sold to me as, and I'm certainly doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Rain on Your Parade. Like, you knew exactly what you're going to get into, and that's exactly what you got as soon as you start. So, fulfilled promises from the get-go. I like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, when I saw the preview for this game, and it, like, I think that The wedding was one of the levels in the preview, and it was just, okay, you're like terrorizing people, you're like, raining on them or putting snow somewhere and making people slip or, whatever. And you're like, okay, this seems fun. I want to do this. And yeah, out the gate, they're doing that. Along the way, you do develop more skills. So you get thunder/lightning. Then you later on get snow. And then even later on, you get tornado. And of course, each of these have different effects. And along the way, you meet different obstacles, puzzles, bad guys that you need these different skills for.
Mm-hmm. And especially, I liked how it wasn't just those different powers or abilities, I should say, but you can also absorb different things as a cloud. Like as a cloud, you can absorb water, but you can also, and I guess we'll get into this in a little bit, you can absorb other liquid materials, let's say, and use that as rain. And I thought that was a really good way to have puzzle progression, but also make you think about what you're going to do next, what move you're going to pull next. Like, you got to go to this one or that one. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too, is reusing a mechanic slightly differently. Like, there was a level where you're in a restaurant and you need to, like, make people's drinks bad. So you go and find the janitor's, like, broom mop. And
yes,
soak up its like gross water, and then you put it in people's cups, and you solve the puzzle that way. That was fun. It was the rain mechanic, but in a new way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and I loved it. Like, talking about pineapple and pizza in the beginning, that level in particular, I loved because Frog is just like, help! You gotta damage these people's lives because they're putting ketchup on pizza. It's horrible. And I'm like, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, that is kind of weird. Why would you put? Ew. Yeah, I don't want to put ketchup on pizza. I'll put mop water in their wine glasses. You get it, Froggy.
Yeah, Froggy's right. If you're putting ketchup on your pizza, mop water is
mop water in your punishment is mop water. I love it.
So you develop new skills, and then kind of the last kind of main overview thing is there are different types of levels through the game. So there's kind of your standard level, which would be like your wedding, where you maybe have one or two puzzles you need to do. So I think in that one it was like destroy all the chairs and get everyone wet who's at the wedding or something like that.
Yeah.
Then there are other ones that are rack up points levels. So you have a level, there's people all in one contained area. There's a bunch of people, equipment, something like that. And then basically how you get them all wet or terrorize them result in certain amount of points. So that's one style of level. Another one, which I don't think this isn't the best term for it, but I would say unique levels, in that they don't come up again. It happens one time, and then there's not really another level that's exactly like that. So there's like a joke level called level 50 at the end, which is you go to the game devs and they're like, hey, the people who made this game made us make 50 levels. We couldn't come up with a 50th one. So you're at it right now, and it's just a bunch of shit from the game, and then different characters sitting around who are people's names who worked on the team, and you can like throw them off the edge into the abyss or like different stuff like that.
Or break the game.
Yeah.
I was like, did you get that one?
I don't know if I got that one. I don't think so.
You'll know if you get it, because
okay,
if you
I didn't then.
Yeah, if you talk about that level, well, spoilers ahead. I mean, if you're in this podcast, then if you just wander about and you wander way off screen and into kind of like this abyss, there's an island of a square, and there's a dev there, and once again, second dose Adam, can't remember her name, but there's a dev there just saying like, oh, hi Cloudy, it's good to see you. Listen, I'm working on the game as you're in this level. I'm working on this computer. Whatever you do, don't mess with this computer because I'm working on the game right now. And if you tornado his computer, it breaks the game and it sends you back to the main menu.
That's amazing.
I'm like,
okay. Like, wow. I definitely haven't done that. That's amazing.
Yeah. And it gave me since I played on Xbox, it gave me a rare achievement, and I was like, "That's amazing." I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah,
That's really great. I like that a lot.
yeah.
And then the last kind of level are boss levels. And so early on in the game, you meet your arch nemesis, who is a guy named Dr. Dryspell, who speaks in puns, basically, about how I think as a child he was traumatized by getting rained on or wet, and so he hates wetness and only likes dryness. And so his aim is to get rid of water or clouds and make Seattle a temperate place almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
He wants it to be like Arizona or something.
Basically.
is the vibe. So you kind of foil his plans along the way. He's sort of your stereotypical bad guy villain who has all these elaborate things, but then you just foil him.
I mean, yeah, and the way you say it, it's like Arizona. It's like, well, dude, Dr. Dryspell, if you hate water so much, just move to Arizona. I mean, I hate the East Coast, so I'm moving to Midwest. So it's like, just pack up and move, my guy. But it's still a good touch, though. It doesn't have to make sense. You're a cloud.
No, yeah, and I think he fit the childhood villain kind of thing.
Yeah, he totally did.
He's not this exactly, but the who's the bad guy in Despicable Me who's annoying? He's like
Gru?
that guy.
Oh no,
not Groot.
Again, second dose Adam. Can't remember her name. Can't remember. I know exactly who you're talking about. The big nosed guy with the orange suit. Yeah.
Yeah, the orange jumpsuit.
No. Wait, exactly. Big nosed guy is Gru.
Yeah,
I'm horrible.
But it's the orange jumpsuit guy or orange suit guy though. We're talking about the same
orange
guy.
suit guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well. Listeners will know.
Oh well. Yeah.
Listeners will know. Will know, and when we look on Google later on, I'm sure we'll know then too. But he really feels like that guy, and so it's your sort of childhood villain. You're like, oh, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
And you like foiling him, and when you ultimately do it, it is nice. So. I would say that's sort of the overall setup, what the game is like, all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was just a nice touch. It was just, and I'll get into some of my general thoughts, but it was just a nice way to set up a good, fun video game. And that's all it really was. The aim was a good, fun video game. And I don't want to get into too much because then we're going to go into general thoughts here, but, yeah, I love the setup of this game. I love the design. I love the level progression. It was just a well-designed, fun video game, if I can say that.
Yep. Yeah, totally agree. That's how I felt too. So I guess from here we'll go and talk about some of our favorite levels and describe what they're like. I guess we could go back and forth on these. So my first one I wanted to talk about was the parade in Seattle. So at the very end of the game, you get to a parade, which is a bigger level, and there's floats, there's marching bands, people like that. There's crowds, there's a lot of people here, and you're just kind of given the warning: you made it to Seattle. You've done it, Cloudy. Go wild. And so you just get to terrorize 100 people and destroy everything. You're blowing up cars.
And they say the title of the game. Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm. It was so fun. I really liked that one. I think that in this game, the bigger the level, the more I kind of like it because you can just cause more terror. It's okay, I'm going to turn everyone into snowballs and just roll them into each other or whatever. So, I really like this level, and it felt like a good celebration of you beat the game, go wild. So that was definitely my favorite level.
And I think that ended on such a good note, too, because you get a final boss battle, right before this, but it ended on a note where you can just put that in controller and you just say, I had fun, versus my palms are sweaty. And it's okay, it's over. But they designed it in such a way where you leave with a good taste in your mouth, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's not oh, okay, it's over. It's okay, you won, and then it's go wild. Have fun, kid. You've done it. And you're all right, cool.
Yeah. What do you remember around what score you got at the end?
Ooh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I made it I made it to over 1 million. I know that. I can't remember the exact one.
Wow, that's awesome. I assume that is more than me. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was just like, go wild. I was like, with pleasure. I just went bat crazy, man. But yeah, no, I love the design of that level, man. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess my number 5 level, I guess you can say, I don't know. It's definitely my top 5 level. It's just Pet the Doggo. It's a side level, so what I like about this game is that there's main missions, but then there's also side tracks. It's set up in a way almost like Super Mario World, where you go to different worlds and you kind of hop around a world map, and then you go into the level. So there's main levels, but then there's little side tracks where you can go into. Mm-hmm. And they always have question marks. You don't know what level you're going to get into. And it just starts off, you're in the distance, but there's a dog in the foreground. And you go up to the dog and you just press the A button or the X button if you're on PlayStation. And you rain down hands, and the dog does backflips and circles, and there's fireworks going off, and that's it. That's the level. You just rain down pets on the dog, and it's so funny. I love it. Just like I'm like, is that it? I pet the doggo? It's like, yeah, that's it. You pet the doggo.
It's so great. Yeah, I like that too. Also, I like that Can You Pet the Dog Twitter basically like revolutionized games, and that everyone's like, oh, I want to make my game make that list now. Like, there's
Which
a part
good for them. Yes. Let revolutionizing that gameplay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super funny. I was playing Emily is Away, the newest one, a few weeks ago, and there's a part where you can pet the dog in that too. There's like a GIF you go to that lets you pet a dog or something. It's so funny. Yes. It's like indie games where people are just like, all right, yeah, we got to include this. Like, sure, why the hell not? Which is awesome. I love that.
And this game definitely references a lot of nerd culture and a lot of memes, so it makes sense that this was at least a side level. It wasn't a main level, but they put it in there. They definitely had to include it, and I loved it.
Yeah, totally agree.
Mm-hmm.
Another, I guess this would be another good pop culture reference. Another level I liked, it was called The Office. And so you progress through it, and at first you're like, oh, cool, I'm just raining on office workers. And then there's one that's make the office workers slip and drop the chili.
Yes!
It's like the Office episode where that happens. And so it's funny, like and then there's one where there's a fire, which again, that's an Office episode also. So it's like, it's funny that they just recreated and played homage to the show The Office in their game. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm.
I was really, when I was playing that level, I was trying to find their version of Toby, and I was thinking that was going to be like a secret achievement or a secret mission to rain on Toby, and I could not find him. I went into the annex and everything. I couldn't find Toby, and I was like, dang, missed opportunity.
That would have been a good secret achievement, like rain on Toby for 5 minutes or something.
Rain, yes. That was definitely one of my favorite levels, and I see on this list you stole it from me. But it is what it is. But that's okay. You are a thief. We've established this, but it's okay. I got a backup level for you, and it's definitely one of my favorite ones. So I'm gonna erase the cloud, okay? Because it was called I think it was called the cloud, but this one I can't remember what they referenced, but they referenced Metal Gear Solid in this. And do you remember that level?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, Cloudy, you must get to the anti-cloud machine. And it was just like, you had to sneak up on them and rain on the guards. You can't be spotted. You have to rain on them. And then they just go running around. And you get there, and it's just like, Cloudy, the anti-cloud machine is waterproof. You have to find a different way. And it's just so creative, and it's just so fun. And the soundtrack for it is it's just fantastic. I don't know. It was just an all-around great reference upon other great references, like The Office, like you said. And then there's also a Metal Gear Solid one, which I absolutely adored.
That level was great. It was funny just to have a stealth level in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That was really great. And then also they did a Cloud to the Past, so Zelda one. That was funny.
Yes,
too.
that was great too. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I feel like we keep saying it, but it's like this game. They just love video games. They love the people who made this. Clearly love video games. They love culture. Like pop culture. Like they're in on all of it, and you get to experience it in a fun way via being cloudy, which was awesome.
Yes.
Another level I really enjoyed was the concert. So this is one of the ones where you rack up points. And that one's fun because there's a lot of equipment, there's a lot of people, and you can rack up a lot of points. So what I did, I think maybe also the New Game Plus in this is pretty good. You can go back around to the levels that you didn't have abilities on the first time and have them again, which is fun. But on this one, it was like, I turned everyone into a snowball and then made a tornado with like everything in the room, just like threw it across the room or whatever. And so it just, racks up a ton of points. But it was really fun. Like, again, taking their idea and then just doing it a different way. Because I think the first time I did it, I maybe had one or two abilities. So when I went back in the New Game Plus and you could do it with all of the abilities, more fun ways to do mayhem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's such a creative game that's, like you said, there's a New Game Plus, which I didn't get the chance to go and play yet. But I do like how they allow that to happen. And it's called You Beat It Edition, I think it's called. Like the main menu is just like You Beat It Edition, or You Beat the Game Edition. It was so good.
There's confetti flowing on the menu.
Yeah, there's confetti. Like, you did it, Cloudy. You did it on the main menu. It's so cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But yeah, the concert is definitely one of those, kind of like the parade in Seattle, just racking up enough points. It's really nice, man. For mine, I also liked the schoolyard. Can't remember what the level was called, but like one of the things is like make the chemistry set explode, and there's different kinds of chemicals that you can absorb into your cloud and then rain into the chemistry set, and you have to figure out in a different way of how to mix up the chemicals so that it does explode. And then there's chasing kids from an art classroom into another one. Like, you got to rain on them. You got to chase them into the one down the hallway. You got to rain on backpacks. It just causes chaos in a school. And I just thought it was a lot of fun. And it's just so ridiculous. It was just again, a nicely designed level.
That was really good. I feel like that, I don't know if it was for sure, but I feel like that was the first one where you could absorb different liquids as your rain when you did the chemistry set thing. And
I can't remember what came first, that one or the painting one. I think that one came before painting, if I remember right.
Oh, yeah. It might be. I'm not 100%, but yeah, that level was really fun. I just remembered one more level I liked. I forgot to write it down, but I did like it.
Oh, go for it.
It was there's a bomb that's going to defuse. That's maybe like your third or fourth level. Like, it's really early in the game. And there's different
That's the one I sent you a screenshot of, yeah.
Yeah. There's different guards that are like coming to turn it off. And in the beginning of the game, you only have rain. You can't do it. Like, you can't hold them off long enough because too many end up coming after a while. But when you go back later in the game, when you have more abilities, you're totally golden.
That's true.
I ended up making a bunch of like snow perimeters so they just slip and fall. And so it's just people slipping and falling everywhere. And if anyone got too close, then I'd like lightning them or whatever. So, and then the bomb went off and you won. But I thought that was really cool because it introduced like a game or like a level you couldn't do early on. But it was like, hey, when you have more abilities, you'll be able to do it. Like, maybe partway through the game when I only had whatever your next ability was, it wasn't good enough still. I couldn't do it. But then at the end of the game, I went back and I was good to go because I had all the abilities. So I thought that was cool. Like, as almost like a dungeon you find at the beginning of a game, but it's too hard for you. But when you go back later, you're just over leveled and you're like, nah, this isn't a problem at all now.
That's true.
I thought that was really cool. And again, clever, like, way they made the game. It wasn't, it wasn't one you had to pass through to continue the game. It was one of the side ones. So you're like, oh, I'm not stuck. Okay, well, I'll just come back later. Like, very cool.
Yeah, it's okay that you came up with a fourth one because I also wrote down a fourth one, and this is coming from me that I like puzzle games. They're one of my favorite games to play. And I like the Bully Birthday Party, if you remember that one, where you had to set fire on all the presents, but there's a caveat. Where like the fire source is actually in between, like the present and the fire source is in between a couple different water sources. So you have to make an exact path into like the fire source to the presents. But it's just so ridiculous that you're trying so hard and you're thinking of ways how to burn a poor child's presents. It's just so awful to think about. Like, man, I really got to burn this kid's presents, but like, I really got to think of a way. How can I make this day horrible for this child? It's so great though. I love the puzzle, but I hated the context.
I thought that puzzle was really good too, because you had to like get the birthday cake over, right? Because it had it
yes.
was lit.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was lit. You had to get the fire from like the coal grill. I can't remember what the fire source was, but you had to absorb like oil. I think of the car. I can't remember, but I remember.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. It's
Yeah.
the oil from the car.
And if you had to go past the dad who's watering the flowers, like if you made the line even behind the dad, he would like hose it down with his hose. Like he would see this fire and he would just hose it down so you can't go past him. Again, really well designed for such a cute game, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm. That was a good level. I like that one. I on the New Game Plus, I went back to that level and burned all the flowers in front of the dad, which was funny. I couldn't like cut off his water source though, but I burned all the flowers down, so he was just like watering burnt roots, which was funny.
Oh no. Yeah, I tried to find a way to like cut off his water source, and I was just like, "Dang, this guy's got it covered." Dang, okay, whatever.
Yeah, he has like a super hose or something. He was
Yeah.
That was a good level. I'm glad you put this one on there. I really liked that one too. That was cool.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like 4 of our favorite 50 levels. So if you haven't played the game yet, I mean, we only covered a little bit.
Yeah, very true. If you've listened to this and haven't played the game, you could still play and get tons of content that we haven't talked about. There's a lot in here, and also all in all, the game's, I don't know, maybe 2 hours long total.
Yeah,
maybe a little
like
more.
2 or 3, maybe if you're really looking at the side content and getting all of the. Like there's secret missions in it, so like there's missions that they give you, and then there's things you have to like mess with the level a little bit. And find a secret mission.
Yeah, that's true. But really, it's not too big, and each level is actually not very long either. They're like 5 minutes on the high end, less than that a lot of the time. Like for me, I played this game on Switch, and so I just played on my lunch breaks from work. So it was like I just like sit down on my couch and play for 25 minutes or something and play, 4 or 5 levels and then move on and then go back to work or whatever. And it was totally perfect for that. Like totally great as that. I imagine it would be totally great as a one shot too, if you just sat down and played the whole day or, all in one go or whatever. But,
yeah, I played these on my days off and it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like either way of playing it would be great. Kind of thing, but there's definitely more there, and I think if this sounds like a game you'd like, I'd definitely go pick it up.
For sure. I mean, like you said, if you got Game Pass, first of all, if you have an Xbox and you don't have Game Pass, it's a missed opportunity. Like you have to have Game Pass if you're going to be on Xbox. But if you already have Game Pass, it's already on there, and you can just test it out for yourself and just have a whole load of fun with it. So. I highly recommend this game, but I'm going to guess that we're going to go into closing thoughts or general thoughts, so I'll save my thoughts here.
Cool. Yeah. I agree. Let's jump over to general thoughts. So here's just kind of anything else we wanted to hit up about the game that we didn't. One thing I've got here is this game is really silly, as we've been talking about. It was a lot of fun. The game I can most compare it to that I've played is Donut County, which is another silly indie game that's short and a lot of fun. And I think that like if you wanted to have like a fun comedy double feature for your weekend or something like that, you could pick these two games up and, I don't know, spend 5 hours or something on it. Just like if you watch 2 movies in a night or something, or did one Saturday, one Sunday kind of thing. I think you'd have a great time. And, you know, if you're looking for something that's funny or silly, I would totally play these 2 games and would really enjoy them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, talking about that, like when it's saying that, like I've heard a lot of comparisons to Donut County, and that's why I try to look for a main theme behind it, which is my first note here on my general thoughts, where Donut County was definitely talking about the damages and, you know, the consequences of gentrification into a town. You can definitely tell that with the raccoons and all that. They were trying to send this message out there, and I was like, okay, what is the message behind Rain on Your Parade then? And I think the message is just a love letter to video games and nerd culture. That's it. That's the message. It's just saying like, hey, we love video games. And there's even a message with the big cloud that says, oh, you can go this way. You can get cloud points, and the cloud points can get this route, and blah blah blah. Like he's going to microtransaction. He's like, oh, just kidding. You just play the game, and you unlock abilities, and it's just stuff like that where it's just like all this game is a love letter to video games and nerd culture, and I love that message behind it, and you can tell it comes from a genuine point of view, and I enjoyed it for that.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like playing this game, it felt like people who made it would be probably people that I get along with, and we like the same stuff, and they would be fun to hang out with, kind of thing.
Yeah,
for sure. I thought this was great, and like aside from Donut County, I don't feel like I've played too many games that are more in like the comedy genre of video games, which isn't super common anyway. I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to find a game that really wants to be funny, kind of like Brutal Legend did, or like Donut County did, like we said. But it's hard to find, which is why when you find one, it's very charming in that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, After Party. After Party is pretty funny.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
I was trying to think. I'm like, but that one I didn't go in expecting full comedy. It still was. Whereas Donut County and this, I was like, okay, these are silly. Like that's what they are. Or Untitled Goose Game, I assume. I haven't played it, but I assume it's.
You haven't played Untitled Goose Game?
Not yet. I need to. I know. I need to. I missed the boat when it came out and was big. I didn't have a Switch then, so I.
Dan, am I going to have to come back on this podcast again?
Maybe. I definitely need to play Untitled Goose Game at some point.
Like, you need to. Yes, dude.
And really, after playing this and Donut County, like, I'm like, all right, like, let's make it a trilogy. Like, these are all fun games I've played on my Switch that were a couple hours long that were funny. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool because, you know, as people who listen to this podcast know, I mostly play pretty serious games, usually, that are a little bit more intense. So it was fun to play something like this that's different and all of that. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and like I said, it's like not only that, but like you said, it's like not even just serious. It's goofy, but it's just an appreciation of the culture of video games, and I really saw that. There were some references, and I did put this in my general notes thought, but some of the references were a little bit on the nose. I will say this on negative thoughts toward the gaming industry. Like I said, microtransactions got in and leveling systems. There were some things that were a little on the nose and the statements have been said before, but it still works in the context of the narrative. It's not so on the nose where it's annoying, but it's just like, okay, I heard that before, but because this game is so sweet and charming, that it's just kind of like, yeah, I'll take it again. I'll take another I hate microtransactions talk again. It's fine.
Yeah, I think you're right. Sometimes it was probably a little more on the nose, but it still fit in the realm like the bug that we met almost.
Yes.
It's like it fit with the game, and so it wasn't so intrusive feeling. I think in other games, if they would have like, I mean, I don't like microtransactions, so maybe it was just
No.
I'm fine with that. Or like I'm like, yeah, sure, that shit sucks. Preach.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
or
any.
They talked about an elaborate leveling system too at one point, right? And then we're like, just kidding, that's not real. Just have
Exactly.
fun.
Yeah, like this isn't an RPG, although there is one level that is kind of like an RPG. But but yeah, that's the thing. It's just a fun game. That's all they wanted you to get from this. And there's even I don't know if you saw this, but after you play, I can't remember which level it is that you unlock this, but in your little humble abode thing where you get the little hats and all that, there's actually a little stand-up arcade. If you saw that, if you go into it, it's their own version of Doom, like 1993 Doom, and it's amazing.
I did not see that. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to go check that out after this.
Yeah, it's in your abode, and it's just stand-up arcade and just rain on it, and you're just in a Doom game. It's so cool.
That's awesome. I like that. That's cool. I like the when games do the game within game. Like I didn't play a lot of it, but like in Night in the Woods, when May has that game on the computer that's like some dungeon crawler thing. Like I think that's fun that they're like, and also I guess in that game too, you basically had Guitar Hero because of your basic practice stuff. But
yeah. Oh my god, I hated that part. But we're not talking about Night in the Woods. I could go on forever.
I wasn't any good at that part either. It was like
I hated it.
I was just shitty at bass, but it seemed like May was supposed to be shitty at bass, so it was kind of fine. They're like, man, you suck, and I'm like, yeah, I do.
I'm just replaying that game again. And I'm just like, I forgot how much I hate the bass parts. And I'm just like, the bass parts and the dream parts. And I'm like, oh, dang it. But, it's still a charming game. But again, I could go on forever. I can't. Okay, I'll stop.
I'm going to say one last thing, and then I guess we'll move on.
Okay.
But yeah. I like the dream parts. I thought they were cool. But
no, I mean, yeah. I mean, you're the expert here on game narrative, so who am I to talk?
I don't think I'm an expert, but that's funny. Night in the Woods. That's a good game. Anyway, back to Rain on Your Parade.
Yes.
I only have one more general thought, which is we talked about it a little bit, but I thought they used the leveling up system and abilities well, in the sense of like you got the new abilities as you went through the game. Like, if you would have had them all, I could see the game getting stale if you had it all in the beginning, or if you only had rain the whole time, or something like that. I thought they did that really well, and I don't think I play a lot of games that, or maybe I'm just not observant, but this was a game where I observed the leveling stuff going on, and I really enjoyed it as I went. And that I like specifically noticed that. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I can do snow now, or whatever. And, they gave you a level where you're like, here's snow. Go snow on these people, or whatever. But I thought they did a good job, and then made puzzles that involve those well for the next 10 levels before you got your next one, and then, all of that. So I thought that was really good.
And that's really how you should do a leveling system, is that if you're going to give me an ability, you got to give me a way where I want the ability, And like you said, in the New Game Plus, it opens up a whole new door to get these levels done. And it just did it right. Whereas a lot of leveling systems in games just give you an ability for ability's sake, and I'll get it. And I can't really think of a game off the top of my head, but there's many games I play that I'm just like, okay, I have this ability. I'm never going to use it. Like, I don't care about this ability, so there's that. But this simplifies it, and I love it.
Yeah. I think in other games I've played, it's like, I'll get a new ability, but I'm like, well, I already like these two, and I've gotten this far on these two. Yeah. I'm just going to keep doing that.
Exactly.
This one, instead, it was like, you actually needed it. I think, like, right after the snow level, you needed to, like, one of your puzzles was make a car crash, so you put snow on the road so it skids into something. Or I think when you got the tornado, you need to throw people off of a mountain or, whatever.
Yes.
Okay, cool. It made you use it right away. And then you saw that it was a good ability, and then you had to use it for your next couple puzzles. And yeah, I thought that was really good. And in New Game Plus too, when you do levels, some of them have a new mission that wasn't on the first one. It's like, oh, now that you have, like on the wedding one of the new Game Plus goals or whatever is have the bride snowball into the groom, and so you put snow down the aisle, and she slips on it into the groom, and you get points for that. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like I don't know. I feel like they put a lot of like thought into how that system worked, and for me, typically, as people know too, I'm a lot more focused on like the story, the mechanics, and other things like that. I pay attention to some, but a lot of times I more notice them when I don't like them. And in this case, It was totally the opposite. Instead, mechanics, like there's a story in this and it's fun, but really mechanics is this game, and I thought they really landed it, and I thought it was really cool.
Right on, man. Like I said, it was just a well executed game. That's all I can really say about this game.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's great. That's all I've got. I don't know if you have any other general thoughts.
Other than the art style was really fun. I really enjoyed the art style with cardboard, paper towels, yarn. The art style fit the theme really well. That's really my general thoughts there. I just really enjoyed my time with this game. Is all I gotta say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I thought it did feel that way too. It fit the theme, and it was fun that like Cloudy along the way, a lot of the times he's like on strings. It's like a play going on, or a marionette or whatever. Like it was fun, really cool. Awesome. Well, that is Rain on Your Parade. If you've got thoughts on it, we'd love to hear them. Send them to us, and I'd love to talk to more people about this game. Again, like we've said, if you have Game Pass especially, go play this game.
Yes.
You should really do it. And also, actually, I was thinking, since last time you've come on, there's been some changes with Games and Groceries and different content you make. So if you want to tell people about all the stuff that's been going on, like, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so of course, I'm on Games and Groceries with my wife, Liz. It's a games industry podcast where we talk about, first we talk about movies. So, that's that. Top 3 gaming news, and we have a guest on the podcast. Not sure when this is coming out, this particular podcast, but I'll spoil it anyway. Andrew Orsi is going to be our next guest, who's a fan favorite. So stay tuned for that one. And then we have, What's the Biz with me and my wife also. And we just talk about anything. Honestly, it's just like it's a very chill podcast. Check that out on your favorite podcast platforms. What's the Biz? But most importantly, we have a new YouTube channel called Evault, EVALT. That's our last name. My wife does all the editing. I do the show running and producing, or like the screenwriting. And it's just a video essay kind of channel where I just talk about my love for video games. In fact, if this comes out next week, I don't know when this is coming out, we should have the next Evolve video out by Friday, which is why you need to play Oxenfree. And I give 3 reasons why I am very passionate about the game Oxenfree, and I go from there. But so we got Games and Groceries, we got What's the Biz, we got Evault, and we're going to go on hiatus late July into like middle of August because we're moving to North Dakota. So that's a big move. We're going to take a little bit of hiatus, but check out the channels. We got plenty of content there.
Oh yeah, quite the backlog of stuff. So even if people miss you for a few weeks, there are over 100 episodes of your show.
We're jumping to 150 soon.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're coming close. So by the time that happens, people have 150 in the backlog to go check out. There's a lot there. I've been fortunate enough to go on, I think, 3 times.
I'm pretty sure if it hasn't been 3 times, we got to make it 3 times.
I think it's 3.
Yeah.
But notably, one of the episodes we did was our wish list for Life is Strange 3, which is now soon to be a reality, which that was fun to speculate on back then. And I listened to it a little while ago, and it was also fun to see what we thought back in the day now that we know that a real game is happening. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So people definitely check out Adam and Liz's stuff. It's great stuff. You should definitely do that. And also, Adam, thank you again for coming on. It's fun getting to talk games with you again.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. I always love coming on this show. So thank you for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. So that is our show. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can do that on Twitter at StoryEverPod. Our website, TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com, has all of our episodes on it, links to all the podcasting places you go to. Also, the episodes Adam was previously on, God of War and Marvel Spider-Man. Go check those out if you want more of us talking about a game. That's available. Our Patreon is patreon.com/TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed. If you go there, you can financially support the podcast for as low as $1 per month, and that will get you access to a monthly bonus episode we do that are topical in nature. So we've done things like our favorite Pokemon, or we talked about The Mandalorian Season 1, things like that. So if that interests you, check that out. If you'd like to support the podcast but can't financially, there's plenty of ways you could do that. Tell your friends, post about it online, leave a review on Apple Podcast or something. Anything would be cool. Really, just getting more people together to enjoy the games we all like would be awesome. I think getting to share in these things we all like is cool. So if you'd want to do that, we'd appreciate it. And that's the episode, and we'll see you next time.
Later.